Hi everyone, Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. I'll be with you in just a couple of seconds. Busy day with all the river stuff going on, and so I'm just a minute or two late here, but essentially we're going to be with you in a second. Tell you what, a couple more buttons to push. So many buttons, you wouldn't believe how many buttons you have to push to get on the right place, get the right thing on the right places. Okay. So, while I'm getting the lights on that, you can take a look at this. This is, on the left is the building that is Newport on the Levee. That's the Taylor Southgate Bridge coming across the Ohio River. And what you can see in the distance is what's really interesting. That is the Licking River flowing out of its mouth into the Ohio River. And if you look at it closely, you can see it's moving quite quickly. That would be the area. One more time. Okay, that would be this area right back here, and you can see the Licking River flowing very quickly. If you would slip and fall and get into the current there, it wouldn't wash you to shore. It would wash you out into the middle of the Ohio River before you would know it. So I tell you what. So let's see if I can do this. I'll try here. What I'll try and do is log into the camera. And if we can, we'll be able to zoom into that. Okay. Well, for some reason, it can't reach it. Try it again. Okay, well, for some reason, we've got a connectivity issue with from in here with the camera. But again, you can see that the current is going quite fast through here and right on into the middle of the Ohio River, and that's that high water washing out of the Licking River. Lots of rain fell over central Kentucky, and we'll continue to have some flooding down that way for a while. Okay, now I haven't had a chance to update these for 7 p.m., even though it says current at 7 p.m., but there have been very few changes, not even an inch in most locations over the past couple of hours, because everything is coming close to cresting or beginning to fall. Don't let that falling there fool you into thinking it's coming down quickly. It is coming down. But it is not coming down very quickly at this point because all the rivers, or most of the rivers anyway, are very near crest or coming down below crest. That's available on my X account and on Facebook, so you can see that. We've got another one here that lists just the Ohio River levels. And again, that is also available on Facebook and on X. And that would be up through I think it was the 5 o'clock. That would be through the 5 o'clock reading. And you can see what's going to happen here in the Cincinnati area. For those of you interested in just the Cincinnati stage, it's going to generally, gradually fall off. We get into Thursday night and Friday morning, down to 51.7 by Friday morning, 52.5 at 2 a.m. Thursday. So Thursday night, actually 2 a.m. Friday, but as we head Thursday night into Friday morning, it's going to fall down below flood stage. So it's going to be high. There's going to be high water out there for a while. We're not by any stretch of the imagination done with it. Now here's something that's really interesting. Okay, this afternoon, some amazing numbers, and those numbers are just astounding as far as I'm concerned. So let's take a look at that. Each second, 594,000 cubic feet of water flows past Cincinnati at the Cincinnati gauge. Okay, it's according to the Ohio River Forecast Center. If you convert that to gallons, 4,444,616 gallons past Cincinnati a second. That's amazing. And if you would just go for 1 hour, that's more than 16 billion gallons of water flowing past Cincinnati in 1 hour. Okay, and then you can imagine if you go for 24 hours what it's like. It's into the trillions. So it is just, to me, that's like an amazingly big number around the tri-state. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the other news. So we go from tornadoes, flooding rains, more tornadoes, more flooding rains, lots of floods, and now we're going into freeze alerts. Overnight, we're going to drop below freezing in most locations. So the Weather Service has put out a freeze alert from 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. More than likely, they'll have another one for Wednesday morning. And when you see the 7-day forecast, you'll see both mornings end up in the upper 20s. Wind chills tomorrow morning will be in the low 20s. Some spots open to the air, open to the wind, will drop off into the upper teens. Okay, we do have what looked like a little bit of shower activity coming our way. Now, if you watch this morning show, Catherine Bodak talked about that. And I was watching it closely this afternoon, and the model kept insisting it was going to happen, and sure enough, it's showing up. However, there's a caveat here. Okay, if you zoom in a little bit, it's again you can see it's kind of dying out, and it's the lowest level of green. If we zoom in a little bit more, you can see that that if you go to northern Claremont County, you can see that there's a little bit of second level green, but I was watching traffic cameras as this stuff came through, and essentially it didn't show any signs of any kind of rain or wet ground, so it's really just sprinkles and cloud level moisture. And if we would query this, okay, you'd find out that here south of Newtonsville in Claremont County, that would be, look at that, 0. Okay, the DBZ is the amount of power returned in radar terms. But the 0 is that second level green is saying nothing's hitting the ground there. We do the second, go to the second level green south of I-275 here in northern Kentucky, and that's heavy enough for maybe to be 0.02 of an inch an hour. So that shower would have to sit over one spot for an hour to get 0.02 of an inch, and since it's only sitting there for about 15 minutes, it just comes down as a few sprinkles around the tri-state. And just a little while ago, that activity moved through right over top of this area. This is I-71, or 75, excuse me, just north of Union Center Boulevard, and you can see the roads are completely dry, no sign of any kind of rain having fallen. And the reason I'm pointing this out in such detail is that there are a lot of people that are nervous about the floods, and even though we have sprinkles in tonight for the next couple hours, and then we do have showers in perhaps Tuesday night into Wednesday into Thursday, Wednesday night into Thursday into Friday, nothing is coming our way that will aggravate the flooding situation. Flood advisory is in effect from Dearborn County all the way into Adams and Lewis counties. That means there might be some spots where there's still enough water running off to cause some high water. And other counties have flood warnings. I'll show you those in a minute. But you can see the Ohio River through the entire Fox 19 Now viewing area under a flood warning. The Great Miami River in Hamilton County and northeastern Butler County under a flood warning. Licking River under a flood warning, and so is the Kentucky River under a flood warning. So, and so those will eventually go away. And then Carroll, Gallatin, Grant, Owen, and Pendleton counties all under a county-wide flood warning. Any of the streams in those counties may have high water and be dangerous. So be aware of all that. And there's the satellite radar loop. Now, what's interesting about this is that, okay, here's that front with the sprinkle activity, actually more cloud level moisture than anything falling apart. The air back here is cold enough to drop us into the 20s with wind chills in the low 20s tomorrow morning. So we are talking about a cold night in the tri-state. And there you see it once again. Another cold night tomorrow night, and then I think you're going to like what we have when we go to beyond the 7-day forecast. Okay, airport temperatures right now, it's down to 41 in Richmond. Richmond typically colder than any place else. And actually, that's a little airport that's south of Richmond. It's really closer to Connorsville and to Liberty than it is to Richmond, but for some reason it's called Richmond. Temperatures in the 50s at CVG, so you can see north of the shower activity, it's colder. South of the shower activity, it's warmer. And that colder air is moving on into the tri-state. So this evening, got 53 right now. We should be by 11 o'clock around 35 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Look at the wind, 16 miles an hour. That puts the wind chill down into the 20s. Overnight, we're talking about temperatures dropping off to around 27. Maybe a little bit colder in spots up to the north. Not quite as cold if you head down to Lewis, Owen counties further south. But the winds are still high enough to generate a wind chill about 5 to 8 degrees colder than the temperature. So there'll be some spots with upper teens for wind chills. Most areas will have low 20s for wind chills. Okay, the roads will be dry tomorrow morning for that morning commute in a few spots. Now, there'll be enough of a wind that most areas will not see windshield frosting. But if your car's parked in an area where it's sheltered from the wind, there could be some frost on the windshield. Temperatures upper 20s to lower 30s, mostly upper 20s, and wind chills in the low to mid 20s around the area. Okay, now here's the shower activity as of 7 p.m. according to the model. Now the model kind of overdoes it here a little bit. Notice it does, just like we just saw on radar, have it falling apart. And when we clear out quite a bit overnight, and the cloud cover you see there is high, thin cloud cover. Not a lot of cloud cover coming in overnight, but enough to stop us from getting any colder. And it's going to be cold in the morning. And frost is going to be around some spots, but for the most part, too breezy and too much cloud cover for much in the way of frost. It'll just be cold. All right, so here's what we've got coming our way. This one even says a few flurries. Thursday at 12:30 a.m., so Wednesday night into Thursday, some showers. Let me go back and do that one more time since I didn't do what I thought I was going to do. Okay, we'll try that one more time here so you can see it. All right, so we're going to start out. And, oh my God, what in the world is going on here? Let me try it one more time. I keep pulling that. Okay, we'll try it one more time. No, that's not it. I've got the wrong, somehow I keep grabbing the wrong file. Maybe I'm just exhausted from last week. It was one heck of a week. Okay, here we go. All it takes is pushing the right button, getting the right file, doing the right thing. And some days sometimes it seems like that's a challenge. All right, now we'll take a look at it. Okay, so there's that flurry activity, and then as we head into Wednesday night and Thursday, maybe some shower activity, and not enough rainfall for there to be an issue as far as the flooding goes. All right, back to what the Climate Prediction Center says. 13th to the 17th of April, it's got us on the border of a little bit above normal to around normal. As we head on through to the 21st, we're on the border between a little bit above normal and normal. And as we head to the 3rd of May, this is saying, hey, we're going to be about normal heading on into May. So we may be done with the cold air outbreaks. Although, remember what local farmers have said for years, the rule of thumb is that you shouldn't plant any of those tender plants before Mother's Day, okay? And usually by Mother's Day, even though Mother's Day moves back and forth a little bit, usually by Mother's Day we're done with the chance of any kind of a killing frost. Of course, we've got a killing freeze tonight and tomorrow night, and we still can't rule out frost. We're still probably a month away from being able to say no more frost. Okay, so the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook looks like this. Near normal precipitation, a little bit above normal precipitation, and then again a little bit above normal precipitation as we head to the 3rd of May. So some rainfall, but not nearly as wet according to this forecast as it has been. Okay, I thought you might like to see this. This is a picture of Otto Armleder Memorial Park, okay? The dog park part of it, if you're familiar with that, is over this way. This is just north of Lunken Airport. And this is this is the Little Miami River here. Here's the normal bank of the Little Miami. And this right here is about 4 miles stream mileage, not straight line. But if you kayak from here down to the Ohio River, it's about 4 miles away. And this is all backwater flooding. And what we mean by backwater flooding is that the Little Miami flows downhill. Now, I've exaggerated it here. It's not that steep. And the Ohio River flows here. But as the Ohio River rises, the water in the Ohio River literally backs up like this just because it's getting higher and higher. And so these areas get flooded. It's not flood waters coming down the stream. It's basically the water of the Ohio River just backing up into the tributary. And you can see that pretty well there. Let me, I'm going to go into edit because I've got another photograph in here for you. Then I took this, by the way, at 5 p.m. on Sunday from up in Alt Park at what they call the Heacon Overlook. Okay, so that's right above that. And there were a lot of people there today. I went by again today just to take a look at it. And there were a lot of people taking a look at the flooding situation there. So I'm going to go, I've got another photograph underneath this that I want to show you. It's just further to the right there. So you can see how wide backwater flooding can be. Typically the Little Miami River is only maybe 50 feet wide there, but it's a good quarter mile wide at this point. So why is it? I'm having so many trouble. Okay, try it again. Again, it's hit the right button and it'll work. So if we take a look at this, okay, so now that is, oh, you know, I don't have the other one loaded in there, but oh, I could, but nah, I don't have it. It's not on this computer. But the water there, as if you're familiar with Otto Armleiter Park, you come off of Wooster Pike, you go down a hill off into the floodplain, and that first intersection you get to at the bottom of the hill, you go left for the soccer fields, you go right for the dog park. Well, that is under about 18 feet of water right now. So that's how deep it is. The water in some spots the lower spots of Otto Armleiter Park under about 20 feet of water. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 7-day forecast. Okay, so we've got a low tonight of 27, wind chills in the low 20s, 46 the high tomorrow, mostly sunny. A few evening showers on Wednesday, a few showers on Thursday, showers ending on Friday. And again, there's nothing coming our way that's heavy enough to aggravate the flooding situation. So if you're involved with that, you know somebody that is, even though we've got rain in the forecast, you do not have to worry about that. It's not going to make the rivers go back up or anything like that. Excuse me a second. Had to go to my Diet Mountain Dew to take a look at that. So that is the 7-day forecast. We have a low of 28 then Wednesday morning, 53 the high. Highs in the 50s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Back up to 60 Saturday, 65 on Sunday. Chilly morning, nice afternoons, cool, mostly sunny. It looks like finally a great weekend out there. And then on Monday, we finally make it back into the 70s, partly cloudy and 74. Okay, so we've got some more spring-like weather finally on the way. If we go ahead and take a look, then at beyond the 7-day forecast, okay, because I got out of the program, we've got to go through this again. Okay, so there's the 7-day forecast, and if we go to beyond the 7-day forecast, I'm having a challenging day today. I worked like 85 hours last week, so I was a lump of nothing over the weekend. Okay, so now we get to beyond the 7-day forecast. High temperatures in the 70s for the 15th and the 16th. One day in the 60s, then back into the 70s for Friday, the 18th, which is Good Friday. Saturday, Sunday, which is Easter Sunday. Now we have the chance of showers Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Good Friday, Saturday, and Easter Sunday, along with Monday. So each of those days could have a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity around the tri-state. And here is what that looks like when we go and take a look at everything on one graph. There are the highs, there are the lows. Put the normals on, and you can see that we're trying to work our way back to above normal around the tri-state. Okay, so for those of you that just joined, let me go back to the river stuff here quickly. And again, these graphs, now these graphics, I should say, they're not updated through the 7 o'clock hour, even though it says that right there. What they are updated for is 6, and there's very little change. There's very little change in any of them since you saw this. And this graphic on the Ohio River, and this graphic specifically to the Cincinnati pool of the Ohio River, and the forecast for that, they're on my X page and my Facebook page. You can find those there. Here's some amazing numbers that we got from the Ohio River Forecast Center. 594,200 cubic feet of water per second going past the gauge, the river gauge here in Cincinnati, per second. That's 4,444,616 gallons per second past that gauge. And if you would stretch it out to 1 hour, that'd be 16 billion gallons of water in 1 hour. That's a lot of water that's moving down the Ohio River. Okay, so freeze warning in effect overnight. That's from 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow. There's that activity that the model said we'd see some showers. It really turned out to be dry enough below cloud base in that and the front weak enough that it's just sprinkles. Okay, and if we zoom in a little bit more, you can see they've pretty much gone. There's not much left of them. There might have been a sprinkle here and there, but I doubt that anybody got enough to even wet the ground. And even though they had it falling for about a half an hour up in Westchester, this is I-75 just north of Union Center Boulevard, there's no hint of any kind of rain having fallen there. So definitely just sprinkles. Flood advisory still in effect for Dearborn, Hamilton, Claremont, Brown, Adams counties in Ohio, and Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, and Lewis in Kentucky. All right, and there are the streams that still have flood warnings in effect. The entire Ohio River in the Fox 19 now viewing area, the Licking River, the Kentucky River, and the Great Miami River in Hamilton and in northeastern Butler County under flood warnings. And entire counties are under flood warnings because any stream in those counties may have high water, and those counties under flood warnings are Carroll, Gallatin, Owen, Grant, and Pendleton counties. Okay, here's the satellite radar loop. You can see what's left of the sprinkle activity just falling apart. And now the air behind that little weak front is colder than the air ahead of it, so you'll see that temperatures have dropped into the low 40s in Shelbyville and Richmond, along with Batesville and Washington Courthouse. Ahead of that, still in the 50s. So this evening, the sun sets at 8:08. We're talking about temperatures dropping off to about 35 by 11 p.m. with wind chills in the 20s. Temperatures overnight down into the upper 20s with wind chills in the low 20s. Roads tomorrow morning will be dry. It'll be frosty wind chills in a few spots. Some spots where there's enough wind won't have the frost. Temperatures upper 20s to lower 30s, wind chills in the low to mid 20s. Now here's what the model says is going to happen to the precipitation, just exactly what we saw happening. And then overnight we clear out and we get some high thin cloud cover. That'll stop us from getting even colder than that. And again, the next chance of rain will come in during the night of Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so Climate Prediction Center says through the 17th of April, near to a little bit warmer than normal. Same thing for the 21st, and then through the 3rd of May, near normal around the tri-state. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, near normal. A little bit above normal through the 21st and a little bit above normal through the 3rd. So nothing really extreme coming our way. I thank God because we don't need it. And there's the Ohio River, the Little Miami River flowing into the Ohio River. This is all backwater flooding. The Little Miami is usually only extends to this tree line. There's a bike and running trail right there along that in Otto Armletter Park. Here's where the river typically is, and it typically is only about this wide, so about this much of it. The rest is overflowing. And that's all backwater flooding at Otto Armletter Park. And mileage-wise, from Otto Armletter, where the river launch is, down to the Ohio River is about 4 miles of stream mileage. So you're a little bit upstream, and that backwater flooding can go a long way upstream around the tri-state. Here's the 7-day forecast. We're looking at high temperatures, 46 tomorrow after a morning low of 27. That freeze warning in effect for tomorrow. 28 and 53 for Wednesday with some evening showers. Chance of a few showers Thursday. Friday showers end. That 3-day stretch will not produce enough rain to negatively impact any of the flooded areas. Then we clear out. We got some nice weather coming Saturday and Sunday. Chilly mornings, nice afternoons, and back into the 70s for Monday. The next 7 days after that goes to the 21st of the month. Goes through Good Friday on the 18th, Easter on the 20th, and high temperatures all but one day in the 70s. And here's what that looks like on one graph: high temperatures, low temperatures. There's the normal, high and low. And essentially, we're trying to work our way into warmer than normal weather as we head toward the month of May. Okay, let me take a quick look here. See what we have as far as Facebook comments. All right, here are a few Facebook comments. We'll cover this. Susan Wally says, hello, Steve. That sunshine was just what the doctor ordered. You're not kidding. Let me tell you, it was so nice driving into work today, having to wear sunglasses, not having to worry about the rain. It was nice, but man, I tell you what, there are a lot of people that have a lot of cleanup to do, and my heart goes out for them. Melvin Bryan says, hey, does anybody remember when it wasn't raining daily? I remember. Caleb Marquis says, hello from Adrian, Michigan. Hello to Michigan. Okay. 420 is coming up at the stores. We'll have some. 420 is, it does not actually refer to the date. It refers to some other stuff. And those of you that know about 420 know about that. So Melvin, we passed that on. Okay. All right. Andrea Sales, is it going to rain all day Thursday? No, we don't have rain coming in. Well, we have rain in the area. It's just going to be off and on stop and start showers. So the chance that you'll see some rain at any time during the day is real. But Andrea, it's not going to be an all-day rain. It's going to be light, scattered showers. Much of the day will be dry in any one location. Melvin Bryan says it looks nice. Okay, and those are all the comments. Now I've got to go. Thank you for joining me here at 7:15. I'll be on tomorrow at 7:15. I'll try and be a little bit more organized and a little bit more coherent, but I worked like 82 hours last week, and my wife looked at me sitting in my recliner watching TV and wondered if I was ever going to do anything this weekend, and I didn't. So, and I'm still not recovered, because that's what happens when you get older. You just can't recover as fast as you used to. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have more on what's going to happen as we head toward that warming trend. Thank you for joining me, and stay safe.